Bentley Flying Spur Speed might not look that different to the car it replaces, but underneath it is a very different proposition indeed. The old W12 engine is out and a new hybridised V8 engine is in. It's the most powerful saloon Bentley's ever made, but also its most efficient, which throws up the question, given how good the old one was, could this be the best saloon in the world? Let's find out. The Flying Spur is the four-door saloon variant of the Continental GT and GTC models and shares very similar technology. As Bentley no longer makes the Mulsanne, the Flying Spur is the Bentley saloon in cruise range. It's a big car, some 5.3 metres in length and 2 metres in width. It's a car you kind of have to keep an eye on the speedo for because it carries speed phenomenally well. Often plug-in hybrids kind of compromise one way or the other. You know, they don't carry the extra weight very well and it kind of blunts the performance, but not so here. I mean, you only have to look at the figures: 771 brake horsepower, 738 pound-foot of torque, 3.3 seconds to 62 miles an hour. It feels it. Its new powertrain mixes a 591 brake horsepower 4-litre V8 engine with a 188 brake horsepower electric motor that's housed within the 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox, driving all four wheels. The combined peak output is a whopping 771 brake horsepower and torque is 738 pound-foot, both figures that eclipse the 626 brake horsepower and 664 pound-foot of the W12 engine to make the new Flying Spur Speed the most powerful Bentley saloon yet made. Now, the first thing you notice dynamically about this car is the electric power. Obviously, we've had hybrid Bentleys before, and this very drivetrain has been in the Continental GT and GTC as well. But in the big Bentley saloon, this hybrid power or electric power suits it really, really well. It's quiet, refined, smooth at step off. It's kind of got that kind of elegance and grace off the line as you'd expect. And around town, electric power suits this big Bentley very well indeed. The hybrid system uses a substantial 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery that's bigger than that of the original Nissan Leafs. It allows for an all-electric and therefore zero emissions range of 47 miles, while the official combined economy is 202 miles per gallon. The W12 engine was so under stress that with the cylinder deactivation technology as well, it was actually surprisingly efficient. It was just always so under stress and it was easy to get over 30 miles per gallon. On a good run, it's better again here. The hybrid, the 200 miles per gallon official figure is just fanciful, but that's not Bentley's fault. That's the WLTP cycle, which is so unreliable. But real world testing, we're seeing kind of high 30s, you know, and some engineers have reported low 40s as well, even with some more spirited driving. And combined with electric only range, it's pretty impressive for something that weighs more than 2.5 tons and has nearly 800 horsepower. One of the biggest dynamic changes Bentley's made in the Flying Spur is the kind of on-the-limit handling, the predictability. We're on public roads, so it's not really the place to test that. They've done a quite fancy video with Damon Hill and he looked like he was having fun, so we'll probably take their word for it. But the rest of the time, it's kind of a bit better everywhere, I'd say, and incremental improvements. Maybe the previous Flying Spur was a little bit lumpier, a little bit noisier in the way it rode, but yeah, this is a bit smoother, a bit quieter again. It's got some clever new dampers that say transform the car, but they kind of evolve the car in a nice direction. One very welcome carryover is the comfort levels. The Flying Spur has always been the kind of car you really can cross a continent in, and it's just so comfortable. It's got some sort of clever seat that adjusts its temperature and massages you in various directions, actively sensing to know how you are. It's a bit gimmicky, but it's all right. It gives you a little squeeze and a nudge every now and then. It's just, yeah, it's a comfortable car, a nice place to be. Now, one thing that hasn't changed at all is the interior layout. Got to admit, it does feel a little bit dated now compared to some of its more modern rivals, but then again, that could come in Bentley's favour. It's nice to have physical switches and buttons. It's a bit of a complicated layout to get your head around and used to, but then the sort of more, I wouldn't say antique style, but more classical style is potentially quite well suited to Bentley, and a bit of a point of difference in the market, although that's perhaps clinging on compared to how far the likes of Mercedes are moving the game on with some of their interiors. The best saloon in the world, to be fair, Bentley's not claiming that. It's just started a conversation about it, and it's a conversation this new Flying Spur Speed deserves to be in. it's got a lot going for it. It's so comfortable, it's so refined, and the hybrid drivetrain, to be fair, you don't really miss the W12 because you get all the performance, but you get added efficiency and some clever new tricks like the ability to drive an electric power. That's a real boon around town. Some areas it's behind the competition, you know, Mercedes, a top-end Mercedes interior is just nicer, although the high tech isn't for everyone, and the boot really does suffer for the battery being inside it. That said, I really like this car. It's comfortable, it's refined, you could easily get in it and do 200-300 miles, as we have done today, and you still feel fresh at the end of it. It's a great car, I really like it.